Keep Oklahoma Beautiful Visionary Leadership Award is given to the person, community, business, or organization with a unique view for environmental or community improvement, which inspires others to emulate or adopt that philosophy. Earth Rebirth, using Keep Oklahoma Beautiful affiliate grant funding, has worked tirelessly with the City of Norman Public Schools students and faculty to create community gardens at each of Norman's elementary schools. What a great way to maintain a healthy environment through community schools. Let's hear their story.
Earth Rebirth is a nonprofit focused on food, energy, and water. Our mission is to educate and empower people to take food, energy, and water into their own hands. I started Earth Rebirth in 2011 as a student at the University of Oklahoma, and so we're largely based in Norman, but we've done work all over Metro Oklahoma City. So we have three main programs: Garden Your Own Growth, Take H2 Ownership, and Homemade Sustainability, and we've done all kinds of community projects, a lot of different things that really focus on community engagement and exchanging the resources they have.
Well, sustainability is something that's very important in Norman, Oklahoma, and so is healthy living and education. And I think what Earth Rebirth does is it brings those all together. I think Earth Rebirth is visionary for a variety of reasons, but one that I think really touches my heart as a community leader is the leadership it inspires in our young people.
Most people definitely know us for the Garden Your Own Growth program, where we set up our first school garden and then set the goal to get a garden at every school in Norman and have them either serve the cafeteria or raise money directly for the classroom.
It's just a great resource, especially since when I started this garden, I was not a gardener. I had no idea. So it was Andrew and YouTube. And now just slowly I look up and I know so much about gardening now that I had no knowledge of before.
Andrew works really, really hard. For such a young professional and entrepreneur, he's already made a lasting impact in the city of Norman, and he's incredibly deserving of this award.
I don't necessarily see myself as a visionary, I just see myself as somebody who really wants to help people help themselves.
I mean, Andrew's vision is fantastic. If I call him and say, I would like to do 1 bed, he says, no, you need to do 4, and here's why. He gives me vision, so it's not just his vision. He inspires us to have these bigger dreams. I would never have dreamed of having 8 beds. I thought I was going to have 1 tiny one.
When teachers are underpaid and overwhelmed in Oklahoma, we wanted to come in and really make school gardening not only easier, but a bit easier to deal with the transition and the sustainability. As teachers need help or get overwhelmed during school, we try to have people come in and help with curriculum. Whatever we can do to help each school succeed, we try to be there for them.
Making sure that our garden is something that if I leave teaching, it will still be here. It's sustainable. We've figured out ways to make this really easy for the next person who comes on board to be able to take it over.
It's a fun way to, again, connect with nature and to learn and get their hands dirty, literally. And I hope that every student in Norman has the chance to do that. And some may never have access to a garden, and so it's often their first time to really see the process and experience what that's like.
With the help of Earth Rebirth and letting your students have some ownership of that research, really anyone can learn it.
Really, the only wrong way to garden is to not garden at all. Every time you garden, you learn something new or something better, and anybody can do it.
How you guys doing tonight? I want to thank Jeanette and Keep Oklahoma Beautiful. As always, Keep Oklahoma Beautiful is easily one of the most impactful organizations and support systems for small environmental nonprofits in Oklahoma, so let's give them a hand one more time. You know, in 2012, Earth Rebirth set the goal to set up a garden at all 27 schools in Norman, and we told ourselves that would take us about 2 years, and it took us 8. And, you know, it's very easy to get excited about these ideas, but we set out with the motto, dream big, act bigger, because it's very easy to get caught up with the optimism that what these ideas can do, but it takes a lot of work, and you got to work really hard to make sure these ideas happen. And, you know, I was always in love with animals and nature as a kid and played till I was exhausted and collapsed in my bed in the backwoods and in the creeks. And as I got older, it became very clear we all need food, we all need energy, and we all need water, and we have to work together to figure out how we're going to provide those things for each other. And when Jeanette told me that I'd be getting the Visionary Award, I decided to look up visionary just to kind of get some inspiration. So the definition was a person thinking about or planning the future with imagination or wisdom. And I don't really think I have too much wisdom compared to some of the people in this room, but I do think that I've been imagining what the world could be like my entire life. And part of that imagination was the idea that we can understand that there's a lot more value ecologically and economically in working together than fighting with each other over these resources, and that there's a lot more value in the ecosystem and in the animals that surround us than just the resources in the ground or in the forest or in the woods. So, part of what we are doing here is just showing people that, every person, every home, every building has the ability to provide some of the resources we need most. And, it's very easy to get caught up in how difficult some of the problems are, but we can all do better. And if you're in this room, it's important to realize that we are all very lucky and fortunate and privileged to focus on this, whether it's as a career or part-time or as a hobby. But the people that are going to be affected most by these problems are not going to be able to be in this room. Underdeveloped communities, communities of color, underfunded schools. There's over 100 school districts in Oklahoma that have moved to 4-day school weeks since starting this goal to set up gardens for Norman. So we can all do more, and we can do more. And I ask you that you look at the generations below us that are so passionate about what we are capable of. And as Earth Rebirth has always asked, and the generation below you demands, I ask you that you dream big and act bigger. Thank you.
Is this a great state or what?
Andrew, Justin, Jacob. The only difference between them and me is they're young and I'm an old guy. They can't get the Lifetime Achievement Award. They're not old enough. You got to be old like me to get a Lifetime Achievement Award. You will be up here, Andrew. You will be here someday. Keep it up.